fear. I know. We're back at it again with the fears again. I know. But this time, it's going to be a second part. There you go. Sit back, relax, and grab your favorite flavored box or bag of chocolate-covered toenails. Because this is part 2. Roll the credits. As you know, there's a plentiful amount of weird and obscure and unusual fears out there, and today we're going to go over a list. There's no count to this list, so you can sit back and relax because there's I'm not going to do top 8 weirdest fears. Not me, that's not my style, except for when I did 8 ways to make Skyrim great again, which surprisingly popped off. But no, to ease us back into this, I think we're going to do a list of various ones, not really numbered. No particular number. We're starting off with Phobia, the fear of being touched. A hand come at you full force and it just scares the hell out of you. I got this fear to some extent. I'm going to be honest. This lady at work, she touched me and I was like, do not. She grabbed my hips. It made me coil. When you touch the food at the bottom of the sink after you're done washing dishes, you touch that soggy food and you just, that was me, but with a person. And I just looked at her and I went, ugh. Because I did not want to be touched. You know who you are. But the fear of being touched, I imagine this one's a little practical. You had some trauma going on, and then, one day you're just like, nope, absolutely never being touched again. Which I kind of get. But also just imagine being a child with this. Your mom goes to touch you, hug you even, and you just get creeped out thoroughly. You look at your mom, you're like, don't do that again. You're like, what's wrong? I don't like when you touch me. What a horrible thing to learn about your child is that they don't like being touched because they have a fear of being touched. They just run around the house screaming their head off. You have no idea why, because most kids aren't like that. You take them to the doctor and the doctor's like, I don't like being touched. Now, at the doctor's office is a very interesting conversation. And as a parent, there's 2 courses of action you can take. Either you backpedal like a motherfucker, or you immediately plan your escape from prison. Because there ain't no way your ass isn't going to prison for that one. Next up is Doraphobia. And no, it's not exactly what you're thinking. It has nothing to do with the 90s cartoon, nor its 1,000,001 spin-offs or the shitty live-action movie of it. Stop condemning our fucking live-action movies for our children. So let us hold them near and dear to the heart instead of making them into really shitty live-action movies, please. But it has nothing to do with those. Can you guess what it might be? I'll give you 3 tries. Okay, 1. Okay, you got it. 2. Nope, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. That was a really horrible. I don't know why you even said that one. 3. I'm sorry. Again, no, that was awful. You're surprisingly okay with doing that. You're okay. It's actually the fear of touching animals. Why? Who the fuck knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Because I've tried. I've looked it up. Why is it called Doraphobia and your fear of touching animals? But it's specifically fur or skin, which is the whole fucking animal. I don't know why I had to specify fur or skin. What are you touching? The inside of the fucking animal? God, I hope not. I really hope not. I hope none of you degenerates out there are just sticking your hand. I mean, I guess some vets have to do that, but it's just, don't push your animals. Don't be touching the inside of animals. That's weird. It's like touching the skin or the fur, which I cannot relate to the fur part, because have you seen animals? Have you seen how comfy their skin, or not skin? Whoa, that sounds so creepy. Their fur feels, not sounds. That's a different sensation entirely. Have you ever felt an animal fur? Anyways, they're so fluffy. Look at a cat. Look at a dog. Look at all these animals. It's fur, my guy. I get the skin bit. Can you imagine touching one of those Sphinx cats? I could never. I'm sorry, Beerus. I'm not petting you, dude. I don't know if that skin is sweaty or not. Do cats sweat? Can you imagine? I'm always afraid that the cat is gonna be, because one of my friends has a fucking Sphinx, but I'm always afraid it's gonna be sweaty and wet. And why get a cat like that has skin and no fur? They're just pet it. It's great. It's fine. It's just, they love pets. I'm I get that, but I'm not fucking petting this ball sack. I'm sorry. Up next is Hypnophobia. Can you guess what this one is? No, it's not hypnotizing. It's the fear of sleep. What a tortured fucking life. It's the fear of being asleep or falling asleep. It's sleep just in general, but How do they even do that? Can you imagine like having this fear and then waking up in the morning and just feeling that dread like, oh fuck, it happened again? They're just losing their mind because every night they fall asleep and then wake up and then they feel the fear in the morning. Do they feel the fear while they're falling asleep or when they wake up? That's my question. Is it when they're falling asleep or is it when they're waking up? Because if it's waking up, you're starting your day off like fucking horrible. I imagine they have to stay some sort of medicated. I'd hate to be the doctor that had to like find a solution to this whole ordeal. I have some bad news for you. What is it, doctor? You're gonna have to live the rest of your life on sedatives. Won't those put me to sleep, doctor? Yes, I'm sorry, but you need sleep. Just getting terrified, just absolutely terrified every time she falls asleep or he falls asleep. It's just, can you imagine going under anesthesia, like going to the doctor to get a surgery? Oh my god, anesthesia would be your biggest op, huh? Can you imagine just having this fear and then having to be put under? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so glad I don't have this. I feel sorry for everyone that does though. Ooh, what a cursed life. You wake up every day on the wrong side of the bed because you don't want to be in bed. Can you imagine when they like have sex with someone and then that person uses a term, sleeping with someone, and then they flip, or like they just put their hand on their shoulder? Don't ever say that again. Next up is phobophobia. Can you guess what this one is? It's a fear of acquiring new fear. The fear of fearing something, which wouldn't in turn be, wouldn't that be like a fear of fearing, because you just keep fearing it because you're fearing the fear of fearing. Oh my god, I'm looking way too in. I'm thinking about this one way too much. The fear of fear. So you're constantly in fear of acquiring a new fear. So that makes you in fear. That is the definition of a living hell. You just wake up one morning. Oh, I hope I don't I'm not afraid of spiders today. I couldn't do it. Not again today. I hope I don't develop a fear of cars or the number 8. I want to talk to this person, not to mock them, but just to have a conversation, ask them questions that if they're okay with answering it, I would love to ask them like 1,000,001 questions. Like, hey, is it a constant thing? What triggers it? Like if you see a spider, you're like, I hope I don't fear that thing ever. Like, is it like that? Or is it like, because I want to know. I'm interested. Anybody with this fear, hit me up. I'd love to know about it. I'd love to have a conversation. Next up is pedophobia. Can you guess what this one is? This was children. You're a smart cookie. I knew you'd get this one. But it's the fear of children. Now, I'm just happy that this one and the next one doesn't have the file at the end of it, because then we're in a whole different category of fucked up shit. This one is the fear of children, not the, you know what I'm talking. I'm not going to say it, but we both collectively know what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about. You get it. Now that's the fear of children. Can you imagine with a child with this? Hey Timmy. Yes. Would you like to play Foursquare with me? Wait, are you a child? Yes. I'm 7 years old. You just have to get pulled out of school at that point. I wonder what causes this fear. I imagine it's movies. Like, you know how a lot of people are afraid of clowns because of it? Like that. And then there's the opposite that happened with the clowns. It's like the File versus Phobia one. Literally, because like it created people who are terrified of clowns, but then there are people that are just like wood, you know, they would absolutely smother that clown with their thighs, and it's kind of hot, I'm not gonna lie. But I imagine it comes from movies, specifically like Children of the Corn or like Pet Cemetery or God. I imagine if it's been created from like The Last Exorcist, or no, not The Last, that's a different movie, but the Exorcism. That one, or The Exorcist, not The Exorcism. I'm fucking stupid. Don't worry about it. We'll get it eventually, I promise. But The Exorcist, that one's got to create. That one has to have contributed to the numbers. I'm just saying. The next one up though is zoophobia. It's just like the last one. Just glad there's no file at the end of it, because we're all in a weirdness. I don't want to talk about it. Zoophobia, fear of animals. Don't know why anybody have that happen. Cats, dogs, all these other animals. That's why I got onto people being afraid of otters. They're cute, they're cuddly, they just want snuggles, and I will die on that hill. And if you have a problem with that, don't at me, because I don't care. Next up is the fear erythrophobia. The fear of the color red, but also the fear of blushing. Now, let me lay out a picture for you, a nice scenario. Hey Charlotte, what is it, Timmy? She's all grown up now. I like you, Charlotte. I think you're gorgeous. Stop. In bolts. That's creating so many villains in one scenario. You're creating the dude that ran out because he's terrified of blushing, and then he just ran away from his crush. And then the crush is becoming a villain because as soon as you said, they realized that she liked them as well, then she's gonna turn into a fucking villain. But that scenario would suck, man. You'd never be able to talk to anybody ever, like in a romantic setting. You make someone blush, but it's also the fear of red. Hold on, I got a test for y'all. Now, if you have this fear, and you know you do, look away. Ba-bum, 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 ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum. Does that scare you? If so, then you've just awakened a new fear. Don't worry that my fingers are up. It consented. We have a safe word. It's pineapple, if you were wondering. It's the most common one. Sorry for scaring you if you have that color. I gave you a warning. This one was less of a... I'm sorry. It's such a weird fear. I mean, I get it. Blood, but that's hemophobia. That's not even... whatever the fuck I said this one was. Erythrophobia. This is like the fucking color red, not blood itself. I mean, imagine you're afraid of blood too, but like... As a byproduct, it's not your actual fear. You're afraid of the color, not the thing. But still, it's bizarre. You'd hate my laptop. It has red lights on it. And then you'd hate Old Spice. Oh God, I realize how much red stuff I have in my room. You'd fucking hate my room, dude. I'm sorry. Next up is anemophobia. This is the fear of wind. Like, is it the sound, the feeling, or the coldness? Like, I have to... Is it like the banging on a window or something? Is that what you're afraid of? Or is it like just wind itself? I need answers. I need them now because I need to know which part of the wind you're afraid of. Imagine living anywhere, actually, because now that I think about it, there's wind everywhere. Now, can you imagine living anywhere, specifically New York, and having this fear? The windy city, bruh. I'm just saying, it would suck. It would suck hard donkey balls. I'm just saying. Now, is it what you can see in the wind? Is it the whistling noise? I need to know. So if anybody has, because I'm not looking it up. I already looked up the fear, and then that's, you guys provide me with the rest of the evidence. I don't look for the rest of it because I don't want to. I've already done enough research and editing because I edit and record and research all of my videos. So shout out to me, the GOAT. I'm kidding. That's so pretentious, and I'm not like that. Next up is barophobia. No, it's not a fear of bars. Get that out of your head, you little degenerate. It's the fear of gravity. It's the fear of gravity, which I think is more ridiculous. You know, the thing that's planting us firmly on the fucking earth. They're afraid of that. Why? Who knows? What rational explanation can you give me for this one? Because there is none. There's like no rational explanation. Like, I've thought about this to a concerning extent. A really concerning extent. Like, think about this, okay? Most fears, they have a cause, right? A trauma that's attached to them. That's why they have a fear of it. Or it's something inherently creepy about, our planet, right? But gravity is like the one fucking exception. It's like being afraid to breathe. Can you imagine that? Imagine at least one person out there. Is there a fear? Hold on. 1 sec. I'm going to do some research real quick. No fucking way. There's a fear of breathing. It's called somatic OCD. And it's like a trauma thing. But still, how do you fear gravity? And how do you learn that you're afraid of gravity? Is it like things falling? Because that's got to be an entirely different fear, right? What makes you afraid of the thing that plants our asses on the ground? Like, Isaac Newton would be pissed right now. Not to mention Theodore Roosevelt would be pissed about the fear of fears. Actually, he'd be probably happy about that one. Because he said... Think one thing to fear in life, and that's fear itself, They took that to fucking heart, but, like, also, Isaac Newton would be pissed. He would be livid. He's like, I discovered this just for you to be afraid of it? You nuisance. He'd be so mad with his slack-jawed chin. Next up is this one, ichthyophobia. I don't even know how they correlate this to what it actually is a fear of, because... You ready for this? It's a fear of fish. It doesn't specify big fish. It specifies fish. That's it. It's just a fear of fish. What about fish? Why do they scare you? Are we talking big fish? If it's a big fish thing, then I get that. But like, specify big fish, not small fish and little fish, red fish, blue fish, one fish, two fish. You need to specify which damn fish you're talking about. Because like, I get the big fish part. There's sharks, orcas, all that shit, right? Whales, the fucking stunningly giant anglerfish. You know how big those things are? They're like 7 feet. Yeah, I bet you didn't realize that. They're big as fuck. I get that, right? But if we're talking like a beta fish, what is terrifying about that? They got the long, flowing little fin. You know, there's that one from Shark Tales that's pretty bad, if you know what I mean. She got curves in the right places. I'm just saying. I know it's a fish, but like wood. But like, what causes you to be afraid of like all fishes, all little fishies? Explain yourself now. Here's the oddest one I have for you. It's the next one. It's the fear of good news. I am not fucking making this up in the slightest. You can look it up. Phobia. Yeah, it's the fear of good news. Can you imagine? You think it's cancer. Okay? Doctor comes in. Miss Gustafson. Oh, doctor, please tell me it's bad news. I'm sorry. You don't have cancer. Proceeds to scream. Let me put it this way. Okay? Can you imagine the unfortunate circumstance? And I'm trying to say this with a fucking straight face. It's so hard to say this with a straight face. Can you imagine the unfortunate circumstance of like a relative or a loved one getting into a car crash? You get the phone call. Hello? I was just calling to tell you that unfortunately they're doing okay. Because I imagine everybody knows I have this fear, which then they would have to like preface everything with I'm sorry or unfortunately to like lessen the blow, right? Because then it sounds like bad news, but it's actually good news. Like, unfortunately, they survived. Unfortunately, it's not. I'm sorry, but it's not cancer. I know those were the results you were looking for, but sorry, you don't get cancer today. What the fuck causes this one? They go on to any TV show. They're all excited when they lose. Here, I'll spin it this way, okay? Miss Gustafson. I don't know why I'm picking Gustafson. This is a name that I grew up with. Yes, doctor. It is cancer, unfortunately. Woo! I can make those jokes, so I had cancer. I still do. It sucks. I'm being so serious right now. Long story. I'll tell you in a second. But can you imagine the good news and you just freak the fuck out? That'd be horrible. Just any good news. Your baby's doing all right. Just screams bloody murder. But that is it for the list. That was the last one I had, so I hope you enjoyed it. And again, thank you. But before I give you your parting words, I would like to explain further where I've been. And I figured the best way to do that would be to do the last video, a part 2 to the last video that I uploaded, which was like a year, almost 2 years ago, I want to say. It's been around 2 years ago because the last time I uploaded was like 2 years ago in December. But I wanted to explain. So what had happened was I had moved, and during that moving process, I had not had a laptop. So for around 2 years, I could not afford one because I was also taking care of people, and there was some business in there I'd rather not talk about because it got to me a lot. But during that whole circumstance, it was weird. A lot of shit happened that I will not explain further because I don't want to. But that's where I've been for the past 2 years. Now I'm back to uploading because now I have a laptop again and I can type away on my keyboard. But that is where I've been. So thank you. As always, I've been Xeroux. You've been amazing for sticking around this long. I really do appreciate it. And please, before you leave, make sure you eat and drink something, you little damn beautiful degenerates.